Hey, welcome to Super Social Club. I'm Jeremy.
This is Whisky in the Six. I'm Rob.
Welcome to the Whisky Rant Podcast.
It's a little crusty.
It's frustrating.
And it's going to be a little bit of a rant.
I don't understand it. I don't know why.
Some sort of injustice.
Anyway, end rant.
Hello and welcome back to the Whisky Rant Podcast. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Rob.
And today we're talking about whiskey and if it's worth its price tag. Got a couple bottles on the table tonight. Clynelish 14, a favorite of mine, of course. Always talking about it, how good value it is. And then it's Big Brother equivalent, an old Brora, 38-year-old.
Yeah, big brother.
Yeah, big brother.
I was grinning there because I had a flashback of when you said, "What's up, everybody? I'm Rob."
Oh yeah, I was like, I took your identity from you.
You did.
I stole it.
That's good times.
So yeah, we got some Clynelish and some Brora. We had the 38, which is my bottle. We also have a sample that Narby and Mike sent us of a Brora 30-year-old 2007 release. Yeah. So we're gonna go over and kind of see, like, we'll try this Clynelish out, and then try these Broras and see if the current price tag warrants the super amount of money and the quality in the bottle.
Yeah, when we drink stuff like this, I feel like we're really spoiled.
We are spoiling ourselves tonight.
This is like, I don't know. That's a lot. There's a lot of money on the table right here.
I mean, but what better way to do it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, Thursday night, regular run-of-the-mill day.
Sure, yeah. Save the special occasion pours for Thursday nights.
I'm down for that.
So we're going to talk about stuff in what's happening on YouTube. We'll talk about Mike and Narby and Malt Reviews and them doing their very first live stream on YouTube, which was
an epic live.
A lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
They pulled out some of their big boy bottles, of course, gave away some samples, and really only like two people cleaned up big time in that, and one of them is your boy right here.
My boy Jeremy. every time you won a sample, I celebrated because I'm like, another opportunity to try something I will never get to try in my life.
So yeah, we'll talk about the bottles that they opened and the samples they gave away because they're just completely amazing. And then for secondary market, we'll tell you what those go for currently on secondary markets. Crazy. And it's expensive, of course.
They gave away 7 or 8 samples total that night.
What did they give away? 6 or 7? So
those 7 drams, I was kind of like just roughly doing the math in my head. If you went to a bar and like paid bar prices for those things, like let's say like a nice hotel downtown, you're looking at like a $3,000 night.
Oh, without a doubt.
So like whoever won the sample, you got your money's worth in that super chat.
Absolutely.
Times like 100.
Yeah, well, those guys super generous, and it was a fun live show. Always great to see those guys just shooting the shit. Great channel,
dudes.
Of course.
Great dudes.
So Clynelish 14. I talk about this on my channel all the time. I named it my whiskey of the year this past year. I think that what you're getting, 46% ABV, 14 years old. Added color, probably. Chill filtration, sure, probably as well.
Maybe. It's 46 though, right?
It is 46.
So maybe not. I would say probably not chill filtration, but probably for consistency, a little bit of color.
Yeah, but not much color. I mean,
no,
it's
still
not
super
light.
Dark or anything, yeah.
But yeah, this one, probably one of the better Diageo releases that they put out as far as consistent core range stuff.
Arguably the best bang for your buck at the LCBO.
Yeah, so what did we pay for this? Just over $100?
I think it's just under.
Just under?
I think it's like 96 or 99 maybe.
There you go.
And that's LCBO pricing. Like I think, although what I will say about LCBO pricing is for Diageo, for whatever reason, they're actually on par pretty much. Usually.
Yeah, they must have have some good relationships with Diageo.
Yeah.
And get this stuff super cheap so they can still
monopolies
market up
love each other, right? They hook each other up. So
I just think with the profile of this, you're getting something like pretty unique.
Yeah, super unique.
So this stuff has the typical, that waxy kind of note that a lot of people talk about with this whiskey.
Honeysuckle kind of note.
Yeah, you don't really get that with too many other spirits.
Yeah. I was actually, before we went live, or before we started recording, I was saying, like, we should probably put this next to a Daffodil, because I think that would be a pretty cool comparison.
Yeah, they do seem the same. So share some similar notes for sure.
Got a cool like lavender kind of note on the nose that I didn't get before in a Clynelish. I did a review of this as well a while back. Love it.
Yeah, I think it's like you get that floral aspect, you get like the honey notes, and then there's like lots of fruit. This thing is very fruity, tropical kind of style of fruits, melons and stuff.
Yeah,
come out with it.
I feel like Highland Park has the ability to be as good as Clynelish if they would just hone it in, stop putting out all the excess garbage that they put out,
yeah.
and just focus on three core range bottles, 4 core range bottles tops. You know what I mean? Pick one, the 10 or the 12. Yeah. Decide. Do an 18-year-old and do a 25-year-old, or do the 21-year-old, 25-year-old, 30. But focus on those and don't do all the other shit that you're doing, because you're wasting. You're concentrating on the wrong things here. Like, focus on what you're good at, because you can be a big player in the game if you want to.
Yeah, like for Clynelish, like their official bottlings, other than this 14, they have what, Distiller's Edition?
Yeah.
And then what else? That's it.
I think that's it.
That's their whole core range.
There's a lot of independent bottles of Clynelish. There's a lot of 24-year-old Clynelish out there that's independently bottled, but you're not getting anything from their core range. They're just focusing on this 14 and making sure that it's good every year, right? Yeah. And it is.
Yeah, really good. So we've had discussions before about when we review, pretty epic bottles on our channels and how much they cost, and is there diminishing returns as far as price going up to quality staying consistent? And I think obvious it's not.
Yeah.
There is a lot of diminishing returns
of course.
when it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, how many examples can we, what you hold a 12-year-old next to an 18-year-old, and yes, maybe you're going to say that the 18-year-old is better, but is it 2 times the price better? Is it, so that would mean that one is a 50 and the other one's 100, or one is a 40 and the other one's an 80, or you know what I mean? So it's never that. You're talking a point or two difference between, so it's never gonna be, you'll never be able to weigh it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there is the exception to the rule, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to weigh it as far as the experience is concerned, and how you value that experience. Because let's take this Brora for example.
Yeah.
Let's start with the 30 2007 release.
Yeah.
This profile you don't get with other whiskeys.
No, this is all farmy. Okay, so this there's whiskeys that kind of tell a story.
Go ahead, yeah. Just describe Brora for us. It's not easy to do.
No, it's not easy to do. But the way I see it is some sort of coastal farm.
Yeah.
Someone's got a fire going beside you. It's dusk. You're getting that wind from the waves coming in. You're getting some sea spray saltiness. That smokiness from the fire next to you, and then the farm, which is a mix of farm smells. You know what I mean? You get that hay and the dirt and all those other things that are going on, and that's the kind of story that I get when I'm smelling this.
Yeah, it's these farm notes, to someone who doesn't know about Brora or other whiskeys that can do this stuff. It sounds so off-putting, but then you're it's mud and it's wet hay, and it's even a manure note.
Yeah.
But it just works, and it's just delicious. And then you get these candy fruits that come off of this thing too,
waxy.
And you're what's going on with this thing, right? Yeah, sweet lemon head candy lemon.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, it's crazy what these whiskeys can do. So I think, I mean, is this whiskey more enjoyable, more complex than something like a Clynelish? Of course it is. Is it worth, how much are these things? $3,000 or so?
Well, okay, here's the thing. In order to appreciate this whiskey, how many whiskeys should you have had leading up to that?
A lot, yeah.
A lot, right? You can't go from a Pappy Van Winkle, and because you're a big player in the game of bourbon and you're spending big money on bourbon, you know what's the best Scotch there is? I'm gonna go after that Brora.
Right.
This is your first Scotch experience, and you open up a Brora, you're ugh. You know what I mean?
What is this?
What is this? I'm used to super sweet cotton candy notes, and all of a sudden I'm getting farmyard. You know what I mean? they're not ready for it. You have to build your way to that. You know what I mean? It's just, like it's stupid, but it's practice. It literally is practice. Like you're training your palate regularly. You know, if you've had 100 Scotch whiskeys, and you're more prepared for this than if you're going into it with just a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like.
By the way, this 30 on the palate is phenomenal.
Is it? I haven't sipped it
Oh
yet.
my goodness.
I'm almost scared. Like every time I get into that like $1,500 and up mark, I'm like intimidated by sipping it. Like I just want to nose it. I want it to allow me to like it for a little bit.
So this is where do I have it? So the Brora 30-year-old 2007 release, recently sold at auction for 1,150 British pounds.
Wow.
So what you're looking at, that's like what, 1,500 USD for this?
Yeah.
Which is, well over 2,300 Canadian dollars or something like that. The other one that we're trying, the 38-year-old, recently sold at auction for 1,800 pounds. So, even more. I got a good deal on this because I did a little exchange at the SAQ that a good friend helped me do. But yeah, I think like if you take a look at my review of this Brora and you take a look at my review of like older whiskeys like Highland Park 30, if you look at the Mortlock.
Yeah. Oh, the Mortlock 30.
The Mortlock.
Yeah.
I've always taken marks off for value.
Yeah.
I think for all of those ones, at least shave a half point or a point off because it's so expensive. And are you getting like that much more that necessitates the value?
It's, again, like you said, right? Like it's the experience that you're paying for. It's not necessarily the rise in quality. You know what I mean?
It's you're getting something completely different.
That's right.
And that's what you're paying for.
Yeah. I mean, you brought up Highland Park 30. I think that's a good comparison because the Highland Park 25, at least from that batch, that series, so like the one before this one, like the one before the Viking Honor one, that 25 is good. It's very good. That 30 trumps it by a substantial margin, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is it worth $1,000 more? Maybe not. But like then again, we're thinking price is in relation to geography as well, right? Like in the UK, you're getting that Highland Park 25 for maybe 300 pounds, and then you're getting that Highland Park 30 for 600-700 pounds. Yeah. So is that more justifiable? Probably, right? Like, whereas here you get that Highland Park 25 for $900, and then you get that Highland Park 30 for now $2,500, which is absurd. But like, it's a big difference. Is it worth, $1,600 difference?
Right.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But is it a lot better? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's different. I mean, I equate it to vacations. Let's say you want to go on vacation somewhere and you want to go to Italy. You can do Italy a couple different ways, right? You can do it where you're seeing a lot of stuff for more money or for less, or depends where you go. Like you want to go to a beach, you want to go to like a resort location, you can go down to Mexico for us for pretty cheap.
Yeah, very cheap. Yeah.
Or you go to Fiji for a lot more money.
That's
now,
right.
You're getting maybe a better experience there. It's a lot longer of a trip.
Yeah.
But you're still getting, ocean water, warm ocean water, and decent whatever.
Yeah. It all boils down to what you're looking for. Like what the experience means to you rather than like the extra quality in service or the extra quality in the experience, you know what I mean? Like going to Mexico, it's beautiful, whatever. Yeah. A little bit more risky. Maybe there's a little bit more violence. You might get shot or mugged or something, kidnapped.
My experience in Mexico have been great.
No, yeah. If you stay on the resort, everybody says beautiful experience and the food's good and not all those different things. Fiji is like 3 times the price.
Sure.
And but
what it boils, like I'm getting drunk on the beach.
Yeah.
Right. The sun is the same.
That's right.
it's the same,
it's
right?
The same sun.
At the end of the day, I'm getting drunk on the beach, but I can do it with a little more experience, a little more cooler stuff, different, right? Differences.
Yeah.
And that's where the price is increasing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so it definitely depends on what kind of experience you're looking for, because there's guys that would be like, no, I'm gonna spend $200-300 a bottle and buy 10 of them instead of buying one Brora.
Right, that's the thing. It's like you could get 10 of these bottles for this one.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, yeah, I could have 10 of those bottles, but I want to experience a variety of things. I don't just want to drink the same thing 10 times. I want to drink one thing multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and exactly. So these are fantastic, by the way. The 30, I got to go. I haven't gone to the 38. Have you? Mm-hmm. So this 38, I remember when you poured it for me on your 10K live, and I fell in love that night. Like, we had the 35 that night as well.
Yeah, Jasper's bottle.
I thought the 38 blew it away, to be honest with you. And right now, kind of getting a similar experience. Like, the nose for me on the 38 trumps the 30 by a substantial margin, and that being like the 30 is very, very nice as well.
Yeah.
But
I think the 30 is a little more peated, right?
Yeah, it's a little more peated, less sweet.
These are very, very low on the peat level.
Yeah, less sweet on the nose for the 30. I haven't tasted 38 yet.
But yeah, we still get like a little bit of that farm element, and then those ripe, like really fresh fruit.
So on the palate for the 30, I'm getting like this, not so sweet, but like salted, semi-sweet lemon peel. That's kind of what I'm getting, like a salted, and then you get those farm notes as well. A little bit of char, something in there that's like farm like.
Honestly, I think I'm like maybe if I had it like from what I've just sipped, like the 2 sips of each, I would probably take this 30 over the 38 right now.
Really? It's interesting.
Maybe I just like the peat more.
Yeah, could be that. You're right, because the 38 is like substantially less peated than the 30.
Yeah, I mean these whiskeys. Like when I was doing my notes for the 38 for the review, I drank it over a week 4 different times, and I spent probably at least almost 2 hours with each dram, just because there's so much unwinding to do with these whiskeys.
You gotta unpack a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with this stuff. An ounce will last you a long time just because how much stuff is coming in. And every time you go back to the glass, you might pull up a little something different. That's what I like about Scotch whiskey is how complex and unique some of these whiskeys are.
Yeah.
These.
So, and here's the thing too. What some people are looking for in a Scotch, well, not. I mean, we've found that everybody. Obviously, we know everybody's palate's different, but some people are going to try this and never like it. Doesn't matter how many whiskeys they've had. You know what I mean? They're never going to be like, yeah, that's my go-to. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Some people will have a sweet tooth. They just want their whiskey to be sweet. They want it to be, even if they like peated whiskey, they're gravitating more towards the Octomore side of things because it's sweeter than the Ardbeg or Lafroig side of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those types of guys might never enjoy something like this, and it might not ever be worth it for them to buy a whiskey that's this expensive, or at least these kind.
Going back to nosing the 14 right now, it smells like mud.
It smells like new make.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that 30 is very, very impressive. So distilling dates. So the 38 was distilled in 1977. 30-year-old would have been distilled in, what's math on that?
Well, it's 30, so 1977 as well, probably.
Oh, also 77.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's distilled the same time.
Or this be 78. So yeah, sorry, 1978 for the 38-year-old.
All right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a year apart, distillation.
Yeah, both. I mean, are excellent, and there's tons of similarities on the palate, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. On the nose, less.
Right.
There's less similarity on the nose.
Pretty sure Brora shut down the distillery in 1983. I want to say 83 or 85. I can't remember for sure.
Okay.
So whatever's left, I mean, Diageo's just been holding onto these things.
Well, are they? Yeah, because they're going to be opening up again soon. Let's see. When did?
Yeah, so Brora Distillery reopening. It was supposed to be this year, but with COVID, I think they might have pushed it back. I'm not really sure.
1983.
So they shut down in 83.
They shut down in 83.
Yeah. So they've probably bottled almost everything they have. I think they're saving a little bit more, but...
Have you seen any 1983 distillate from them?
Not yet.
I wonder.
I don't think they released a Brora this year. If we can find it, I'll put it up. But I don't think they released a 2020 Brora, did they?
There was a 40-year-old that was released. When was that released?
A couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they released a 40. They did like a special edition 40-year-old. I'm not sure if they did anything higher than that in age, though.
That 30-year-old, that last sip on that 30-year-old was epic. It's just so, like, getting sweeter.
I can't
Less
remember
lemon
my
peel, more lemon
I can't
sweetness.
remember my tasting notes on this thing, but I think they were crazy.
Oh, I think you can be there all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think for us, we're at the point where we do venture out into higher price bottles because we're chasing that experience.
Exactly.
It kind of just depends on where you are. I mean, look at Mike and Narby. I think that they would say that they do think that what they buy for on the secondary market is a good value for them.
Yeah. Well, that's they chase bottles that are tried, tested, and true, though. Like,
yeah,
they're not chasing the newest Highland Park 50-year-old. You know what I mean? They're chasing old vintage bottles that were highly rated, tasted by trusted people.
Yeah.
That gave them ridiculous scores. You know what I mean?
I mean, when you're investing that much money into a bottle, you have to do your due diligence.
You have to. Like, which brings me to this new LCBO Lotto. LCBO is just constantly providing us with excellent material. Like, what did you said that this was $2,400? You're getting a 38-year-old Brora from a closed down distillery.
Yeah.
Do you want to know what the new Highland Park 30-year-old is going for? $2,500. So
$2,500.
Yeah, $100 more than that.
For a Highland Park 30.
I can beat that. The new Bowmore 30. The new Bowmore 30. So a 30-year-old Bowmore, which, let's be honest, nothing Bowmore with, like, other than those, like, vintage piece bottles,
Yeah.
has been that good in the last, well, I don't know how many years. I mean, that's not entirely fair. There are some decent expressions, but for the most part, $2,700 for the new 30-year-old.
$2,700.
Yeah. Highland Park 40-year-old. Highland Park 40. So again, 38-year-old Brora, so 2 years younger.
Yeah.
$2,400 for this.
Yeah.
$10,000. $10,000 the LCBO would like to charge.
Oh my goodness.
For the new Highland Park 40-year-old.
Why are they doing this?
Well, because they're a glutton for verbal punishment, I think. I don't know, honestly. Like, I haven't seen this Highland Park 40-year-old exceed $4,000 anywhere else. So, which begs the question, who the hell is picking the prices for these bottles? Is it like, I know we used to joke about Maggie the Monkey spinning a wheel.
It's the big wheel of
the big
prices.
And it's like 10,000, double down, that's 20,000. Yes, we can do it. And scary enough is they're actually gonna get these bottles sold. Like, it's gonna happen. People are gonna buy this shit, and they're gonna say, "Wow, I got the new Highland Park 40-year-old." They're gonna post it all over social media. Yeah. Meanwhile, Stefano Pileggi in New York is buying things at cost plus 10%, and right. Like, everything on this list would be blown away in 3 seconds. Like, just.
The LCBO recently released the new Cartridge. New Cartridge. The most recent Cartridge. They came out. Yeah, they came out like 9.5 months ago.
I think I got a bottle about a year ago. It felt maybe not that long ago, but like it felt like a long time ago.
Yeah,
when I got those
it's
cartridges.
been out everywhere for forever. LCBO just released it. Mm-hmm. They spun the big wheel on that and came in pretty low, $109.
Yeah,
like what?
I saw it on a UK website for like £300.
What? Why?
I don't know.
My goodness.
I don't know. Lefroy, 30-year-old, $2,500. So again, 8 years younger than this Brora. I love using this Brora as a reference because like people are like, this puts it into perspective. Like we're talking about like every Scotch lover like holds at least respect for Brora. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether they like it or not, they respect it.
They know the name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The LCBO's pricing is bonkers. Macallan 1824 series number 6, $5,200. Here's a deal. A real deal though. Like this is a actual deal.
Yeah.
Macallan 72-year-old is $85,000. That was the price that they also sold it for 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Same bottle. It's
Right.
the same bottle. I don't know what happened. Like 2 years ago, there was a set amount of these bottles, and then all of a sudden, more of these bottles popped up, and people are getting them again. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, so the Macallan 72 Lalique, 85,000 Canadian dollars is a good price because these things sell for about 85,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So you're looking at almost doubling your money instantly if you bought that.
Okay, so again, putting this into perspective, this Brora was bottled in 1978.
Yeah.
There's a Macallan 1985 fine and rare. I want you to guess how much that bottle is going for.
How old is it?
It's 1985. It doesn't say the
It
the
doesn't say
bottling
when it was
date.
bottled. Let's say it's bottled in the last 3 years.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So 30
30
mid
plus.
30s.
Okay, it's got to be, I would say, a minimum of like $60,000.
It's $40,000.
What's the deal?
Is it? Like what? But then here is incredible logic. Macallan fine and rare 1951 cask.
Oh wow,
How much is that?
that's got to be 60 grand.
$45,000.
Really?
So 1985 for $40,000
Right.
or the 1951 for $5,000 more.
I don't know, man. This is crazy.
No, like where are they getting how?
I don't
Like
know.
what are these
It makes no
prices?
sense.
It doesn't make sense. Like it's just stupid. That's all it is. Like it doesn't even like honestly, I trust some of my grade 4s to pick better prices for these bottles than anybody that's picking the prices at the LCBO because clearly
I don't know. It makes no
they're
sense.
using Mike and Narby's random number generator that picked out of 7 people, 2 people,
Over and
3
over
times
again.
each. That's what they're doing. So if you don't know what we're talking about, you gotta watch Malt Reviews recent live. But that's what's happening here. It must be that because otherwise it doesn't make sense.
So the famous 1926 Macallan Fine and Rare sold recent. Another one sold recently, 1 million pounds or whatever it was, which is down from 1.25 million, which it sold for previously.
Well, doesn't that make you want to kind of buy this 1951 Macallan? Like, it's a
Kind of.
1951 Macallan.
Yeah.
If that's $1 million, why is this only $45,000?
Well, it's 1926.
I get it, but like, there's a 1985 that's $5,000 less.
I don't know.
There's no logic to this. There's zero like you cannot. They're not using a chart that helps them with pricing. They're not. There's nothing logical about what they're doing here other than sheer stupidity. And honestly, God rest their soul and help their soul because forgive them because they know not what they're doing. I don't know what else to say.
Well, they piss off a lot of people. And let's go back to this cartridge release. It was an online release, right? It released, I don't know, sometime in the morning. 500 bottles or something gone within like 3 hours, and people just like missed out because there was no limit. They didn't limit it to one per person. People came in, they scooped it all up because at $109, you're looking at that's probably like the lowest price, maybe globally. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
There's
in the US,
it was
they
about
used to.
that in Nova Scotia about that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
one of the lower prices. I know in the US you should be able to find those for $79, but I think they're more in the US now.
Yeah.
UK more.
Actually, I think Nova Scotia was 120 or 125.
Yeah.
But still, that was also a good price.
Yeah.
So, yeah, who knows? And what doesn't make sense is that a few days later, they release all the new the 2020 Diageo releases, and they are all limited.
Right, all one per customer.
All one per person, or I think the Lagavulin was 2 per person.
See, the LCBO doesn't, like we mentioned this before, they don't have someone on the pulse knowing what's going to be super sought after, and they should learn from their mistakes. They know that the cartridge release sells out quick, because I have a story about a freaking store manager hoarding them behind the counter.
They have the money to hire someone like well educated in the industry, give them $200,000 a year, and literally would make them quadruple, if not more than quadruple, what they're making on whiskey right now.
Any one of our viewers could do that job.
Anybody.
Any one of our viewers could do that job.
Yeah, I agree. Pay them a decent salary, and you will see your whiskey sales flourish. Like, it'll be absurd. Like, right now you have someone that grew through the company great. They were loyal and they're hard workers. Put them through an education program then. Put them through a whiskey program.
Yeah.
Let them understand. Like, give them homework. Say, hey, we're going to pay you to watch all the YouTubers out there right now.
Ralphie has 800 videos. Start at 1.
Start at 1. Right? Yeah, exactly. Like, they have the money to do it.
Yeah.
Just invest it right.
Yeah.
Just invest it intelligently.
The problem is that when you have a monopoly, you don't have to care about your customers. Yeah. And, it seems like sometimes they pretend to, and sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, this was done fairly. And other times you're just like, what are they thinking?
Can we take away some points? What are we at?
I don't know. I stopped the counter. It got too high and it broke.
I feel like we need to find a new counter.
Okay.
Start them at like 1,000 dummy points, or whatever we were calling them before.
Yeah.
And just add another 1,000.
Just keep doubling it
Add another 1,000. So they're currently at 2,000 dummy points.
Okay. Well, we got to take some dummy points off, because that Bowmore Aston Martin was a good deal.
And the Macallan
League, good deal, right?
Yeah. But do they get points off for just sheer stupidity? Like, they sold this 2 years ago for $85,000. Here's an opportunity to charge the rich a little bit of inflation.
Right.
Put all your,
make up for it on the other bottles.
Right.
Yeah.
Here's your opportunity. I don't know how many bottles you have of this. Probably 1, maybe 2.
Probably 1.
Right?
Yeah, could be 2.
You could charge $100,000 and people wouldn't blink. The same person that's going to buy this for $85,000 is not going to be like, oh shit, they raised it to $100,000. I can't do it anymore. Yeah,
it's like, I'm only going to make freaking 75% profit on the bottle and not 100% profit.
So make your extra $15,000 there. Be nice on all your other prices and stop being stupid. Just hire someone intelligent. Because of this rant, I'm getting at least 10 thumbs down.
I don't think you're getting any thumbs down for this, because it's all very, very justified.
I feel bad for... There are employees at the LCBO that watch our channels that know about whiskey that are just being ignored. They're being ignored. They don't... The higher-ups don't want to hear what they have to say. They don't give a shit what they have to say. It's terrible.
They don't care, because it's all balance sheets and freaking income projections. Yeah. So it doesn't matter.
They're like, sorry, are you...
It's like, sorry.
This pay grade? No? Okay, so you're not allowed to talk. You just go get that box, put it on the shelf. Like, they're paid decent at the LCBO, and they have benefits and all those things if they're full-time. But they're not valued. They're not valued, and I really feel bad for them, because they deserve way more than what they get.
It's like someone's putting us on blast on Twitter. Oh, no.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'll just rub some money on my face.
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget helping pick the Highland Park with 2 LCBO executives and just watching them debate over the name of the whiskey without actually caring what was in the glass. There's 3 different options, and they wanted to pick the one that was aged in a hogshead because Toronto at one point was nicknamed Hogstown or Hogtown. Like, I was looking at them with sheer disgust. I was like, I can't believe this is happening in front of my eyes. This is what happens every day at the LCBO.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's give it this price because this makes sense. Maggie says this is what makes sense because look at the wheel. Like, simple science.
Must respect the wheel.
Can we get the wheel? Can we get a wheel?
God.
Simple science. Maggie the monkey. Yep.
Anyway.
This Brora 30 is phenomenal.
Yeah. So if you're gonna pick one, the 30 or the 38, what are you gonna go with?
I can't make that decision just yet.
See, now I've gone back to the 38. I'm like, well, it's 38 now. Like, it's opening up more even.
So that last sip of that 30 was stupid good, and like all of the sweetness that was hiding somehow is now like right at the forefront.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to sip my water because I don't want to cleanse my palate after that. Like these,
No, don't clench your palate.
yeah, but then I'm not giving the 38 a just.
Here. I mean, you're not going to go wrong with this. I think that if you take a look at Serge's scores on both of these whiskeys, they're both up there. I know he scored the 38.95. I'm not sure we scored this 30, but I would assume this is the same. We'll throw it up on the screen. You're not going to go wrong with either of these choices. I don't know what the 30 was the ABV on it. Well, I'll put that up too. But the 38, you're looking at 48.6. And I want to say that that's cask strength, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if that's cask strength or not.
So he gave an independent bottle of Brora a 97.
Oh, wow.
But this one he gave apparently that 30 is 55.7% ABV.
No way.
It doesn't taste that way.
I would say that these things are almost identical ABV wise.
Yeah, they do taste that way. Sorry. 93 for the 30.
The 2007 release?
Mm-hmm. And then he doesn't have the 38, or maybe he does, but it's not.
He does have the 38, I remember.
Oh, he does. Yes, he does. You're right. Oh, wait.
He was 95, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so 48.6%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that one is 95. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So I'm with him, man. I think I like the 38 a little bit better.
Yeah.
Although the sweetness really has come out on the 30.
I think that 30, you get a little more of that peat, a little more of that farm even.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that higher ABV, now that you mention it, I mean, maybe that's making the difference.
It might.
Anyway.
Both
We're
great.
super spoiled drinking these bad
Absolutely.
boys.
Absolutely.
And yeah, big thanks to Mike and her for sending us samples.
Yeah.
And they'll be sending some more samples my way. So let's talk about their live show, because it was a lot of fun. Their very first live that they did, it was Mike's birthday.
Mike's birthday, yeah.
And they cracked.
Did they say how old Mike is?
He's like late 30s, I think.
Late 30s?
Yeah, something like that. They did say how old he was, but I can't remember. I think it was late 30s, I want to say. So they cracked this bottle, an Ardbeg 1976 single cask, hand-filled, sherry matured. I don't know the ABV. I'll throw it up there.
You don't see Ardbegs that color. You don't. I've never seen.
It's very, very dark.
It was really dark.
Because they don't bottle like just single cask sherry stuff. Do they? I don't think so.
Well, probably, but we never see it.
Yeah. I'm not sure if this was a Fagile release at the time, but like I said, single cask. So they were searching this cask. This was like a specific cask that they wanted to get for this one. So yeah, at auction, current auction prices on this bottle, 3,600 pounds, plus the 10% plus whatever plus. So extremely expensive bottle, $5,000-$6,000 US, something like that.
That bottle looked phenomenal. They gave away a sample of that.
They did give away a sample of that. One of many crazy bottles they gave away a sample of.
Yeah. You know what's weird? Out of all the samples that were given away, I'm really excited to try that rum.
Yeah. So the rum that they pulled out, this was their all-time favorite rum that they've had so far.
Okay.
It's some weird like Moon import 20-year-old rum.
Crazy.
From where is it from again? I forget where it was from.
I don't remember.
Guana or something. Anyway, sherry cask matured.
Mm-hmm.
I think bottled by Scotch producers. Anyway, I couldn't find the exact one that they had, this was a 21-year-old that was selling for 525 British pounds at auction.
They're obsessed with Italian bottlers.
Yeah. Like Italian imports and Italian bottlers.
They love them.
Because I think the theory is, well, I don't know if it's for sure,
well,
but the Italian mob was like getting the best stuff, right? Like they wanted the tops of whatever, and like these Italian, like Samaroli, and I forget the other guy's name.
Yeah.
The other big guy, Italian importer, were just bringing in just immaculate stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. I mean, that was just kind of like a storytelling time for Rob. Like I just kind of made that story up, but I feel like that's got to be it. Like, why else would they have, like, literally some of, like, the top, they're like 15 of the top 20 choices for whiskey of all time.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, half of them are Samarolis,
Yeah.
and the other,
So, like, how else could that happen?
Right.
Without a little bit of enforcement. Like,
without something falling off the back of a truck somewhere, right?
they go to the owner. They're like, "What's the one that you dip into and you don't tell anybody about once?"
Yeah.
You know. Actually, in Water of Life, Jim McEwen was saying that he does that.
Yeah.
There's a few casks in each warehouse that he's ever worked in where he doesn't tell anybody about, and he just goes back to them every once in a while and gives himself a big pour.
Yeah, just at that special little chalk mark on the side. Yeah, the honey barrels. Yeah.
He knows exactly which one it is, and
Yeah.
he knows that, you know. Can you imagine that job, though? Like, imagine, like, getting hired as the master. Like, Adam, what's his last name that works for Brookladdy now?
I'll throw it up there.
Hennett? I think it's... Anyway. That guy, he's, like, a couple years older than us. Maybe around his, like, late 30s. And he just took over the Brookladdy distillery as master distiller. Like, can you imagine that job? Like, you have tens of thousands of barrels to pick from. It's your job to choose which ones are going into...
Right?
And, like...
It's like, guys, I'm just going to live in the warehouse for a couple of days.
Yeah.
Okay?
Like, that's a...
Don't talk to me.
That guy can never complain about his job, ever. He's not
I don't
allowed.
think they would. I mean, I guess, like, work becomes work at some point in time, but really, does it? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, does it have one more drink? Is it still?
So some other stuff that they poured samples of that night. This Springbank 30-year-old Millennium, which is super dark.
You didn't win that one, did you?
No.
No.
No, but this one goes for about 1,900 pounds at UK auction right
Crazy.
now. So yeah, that was they've reviewed that one before. It sounds just incredible, of course.
So about 3,500 Canadian-ish.
Right.
Wow.
They had a Nika Yoshi.
Yeah.
Or a
Heavily sherried or something like that.
20-year-old. That one I did win a sample of.
You won a sample of that. I saw that.
So we mentioned this before and how they kind of release the sample. So if you super chatted, for every $5 increment, you got one entry into their giveaway. So if you super chatted more money, you'd have a higher chance of winning a sample.
Mm-hmm.
But if you won, all your entries except for the one that you won would still go back in, and you could win again. So it just came down to two guys, me and what was his name? I forget his name.
I forget the other guy's name, but he won 3, you won 3.
Yeah, so we each won like just multiple samples.
And one other guy, I think, won 1,
Right,
or 2 other guys won 1 each.
So I won that rum. I won this Nika Japanese whiskey, and also a sample of the Redbreast 27.
Yeah.
I
think moral of the story is when you do a giveaway like that, after someone wins, all their names get docked.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you're winning a sample that probably cost like maybe $200 at a bar.
Yeah. So like if you took those 5 bottles that they gave away samples, or I forget those 6 on the list, but if you take those 5 that we just mentioned and add them all up and rebought them right now on UK auctions, you're looking at $12,000 US dollars.
There you go.
$12,000 US bucks to get those 5.
That's absurd.
Like that's crazy.
That's
and they give away samples. They must have given away what, $1,500 worth of samples, maybe something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were very, very generous. We know that they're very generous. They've given us. I mean, they gave us this 30-year-old. They gave us a whole box of like really high-end samples.
Yeah.
You know, so we know that they're super generous dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was really cool of them, and I was really happy to see the support that they got. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, they
as
had a
soon
lot
as,
of guys in the chat. Like they had over 75 people watching at one point.
I think like almost 80 or whatever,
which is good.
And they did, and they got like a ton of super chats. Honestly, like there's a lot of money that goes into these channels, and like even if you're giving away samples, like hypothetically on like Patreon and stuff like that, there's a big cost to that too, like shipping, buying the gear, whatever, the material that you need, the little sample bottles, the bags. You're pouring liquid that's expensive as well.
It adds up. It's a lot. It's a tedious process too, right? Like
for sure it is.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. So I mean, we do it because we love it, but seeing Mike and Narvi get some money back that night, like that was cool.
They did very well in the super chats.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people were like wanting to support this channel for a very long time.
Yeah, and they've never done it live.
Because these guys are bringing us bottles that you never see open, right? Like you might read a Surge review or something like that on a sample that he's had, but you don't get to see like two guys sit there, open a bottle up, pour it out, and really go through it. It's something very unique, and you never see that stuff. So it's really cool.
It was really cool. These Clynelish corks are very squeaky.
You going back to the 14? What's the point?
Wow, we got to review it at the end of this.
That's true. I guess we should. Well, we should score.
I should have some. Yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, I don't even remember what my score was back in the day. I'm gonna say it was probably like an 88, but I think it might change tonight.
I mean, if you could pick and have 20 bottles of Clynelish 14 or one Brora.
No, it would be the one Brora.
Right.
Yeah. See, and that's where I love this Clynelish 14. So that's a tough one, but yeah, for me, it's never been about quantity. It's always been about quality.
I think the same. I think it's about exploring different stuff.
Yeah, like I don't sit at on my couch, look at my cabinet, and say, man, I need to like pour 5 drams right now and get crushed. Right? Like, I never do that.
Yeah.
I just want to like, what do I feel like? What do I have the flavor? Like, what do I want to taste? You know what I mean? Like that's what it's always been about. That experience. So that's why we got into this. I think, you know what I mean. So
yeah, 100%. Like, I think that would you rather drink a Clynelish 14 once a year or have one pour of Brora once a year? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's no comparison. Yeah, because essentially every dram of this costs one of these.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
If not more.
Yeah.
Right? So, yeah. Good stuff for sure, but when it's next to these, like, it's not fair to score the Clynelish on a night like tonight because of what you're having next to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's
yeah, I mean, I've scored before. My score is not going to change. But I think really what we are concluding with this is that, yes, we know that some of these whiskeys are overpriced and there is a lot of diminishing returns with quality as price goes up, but we're still willing to potentially overpay for something because we do want the experience of it.
Absolutely.
Right. And we do want to go to Fiji because the beaches are different, and we will pay that just to experience it.
Exactly. You can go, like you said, to Mexico, or you can go to like Sardinia in Italy and have like a completely different experience. Yeah, it's just a beach. Yeah. But the food is different, and the ambiance is different, and like the nightlife is different.
Yeah, you're gonna experience something different every time.
Exactly. Yeah. Right.
And if it's your passion, like some people collect different things. Yeah. Some people like cars, some people like this, some people like that. A car is going to get you from A to B. Yeah. But the ride's different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I recently had to buy a new vehicle, but I drove a Nissan Altima for 12 years.
There you
go. Right? So Mike was driving a $400 vehicle when he went to go pick up his first $10,000 bottle. So
there you go, right?
I love that story.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not far off. Like I've done by the end of that Altima, I didn't like that vehicle wasn't worth very much. I think I got in trade-in like $500 or whatever, $700.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's throw some scores out for these. The Clynelish is easy for me to score because I've reviewed it before, and my score is not going to change. I'm at a very nice 88 on it. I think for what you can get it for in the US, I think you can get it for like $60 in the States. I know it's around 100 here, right around 100 Canadian bucks, but well worth it. Even at 120, it's completely worth it. Do you remember what you scored the Clynelish?
I don't remember what I scored the Clynelish, but I'm gonna give it an 87. I think 87 is fair because it is something that I would replace on a regular basis, and 87 at sub $100 I think is a bottle that I would replace regularly. Would you just score it again? Sorry.
88.
88.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 87 is fair. 88 is like probably the score I gave it in the past. But like again, keep that in mind because we just had like epic shit next to it.
Yeah. So. Okay. Well, now we'll score the Broras.
So
I know it's gonna be tough.
So then, the 30, I'm gonna go 92. And I hate scoring off of samples. Like
it's very hard. Yeah.
I hate scoring off of samples. It probably deserves more than that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not gonna lie. It probably deserves more than that. This is my second go with the 38, and I do like it more. You know what? Yeah, I do like it more. I'm gonna say that this is a 92, 93, and this is a 93, 94. So 30 is a 92, 93. 38 is a 93, 94. How about you?
So I've reviewed the 38 before. I did lots of notes over a long time to figure out this whiskey.
Yeah.
Came up with 95, which I will stick with. It's the highest score I've given on my channel before.
Fair score.
And well deserved. Now, trying this 30 for the very first time, I'm like, wow, I like this maybe even more.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I can score it more just on the sample.
It's hard
so
to.
I'm going to score it a point less for 94 just because I know I might like it more if I could examine it even more, right? Because like right now what I'm getting is more peat. I'm like, oh, more peat. I like this. Right. I like this more peat note. But am I getting all the complexities out of this one that I was giving 38? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I would say the 38 for me is more complex. Like there's definitely like there's a viscosity to the 38 that with even the higher ABV of the 30 doesn't have, in my opinion. Then just the layers of like farm and then sweet and salty and it goes down. Like even me scoring either of these tonight is not fair, really. To the whiskeys, and I never find it easy scoring a whiskey. Giving a whiskey a really high mark on a sample. So like I credit those who can do it. I can't. There's a few guys that I trust in the industry that do it based on a sample. There's a bunch of people I don't. There's a whole bunch of bloggers out there that will like crush a whiskey and give it like a 75 or a 71. Yeah. Like, this is good, overhyped. Right. But you had an ounce, and maybe your palate was off that night, and maybe like a million different things, you know?
Yeah.
You didn't have it 5 times in the last 2 weeks to give it a fair score. Like, you and I, when we score a whiskey, we try to, go at that whiskey at least 3, 4 times, 5 times more.
Yeah.
Half of my bottles up there are not being reviewed because I want to get them to about half before I give them a mark. Right. So, and when I go to the review, I have a score in mind, and that final night is kind of like a new score weighed against all the other scores. So let's say, for example, recently I did the Shelter Point rundowns. One of the bottles on there, I was going to give it like a 76, but that night it was scoring like an 85. So I gave it an 83, right? Like it probably should have been the 85 because it opened up quite a bit, but my first couple experiences with it weren't as good.
Yeah.
So I weigh it, you know what I mean? I'm not doing any of that with these two. So like I said, 92, 93 for the 30, 93, 94 for the 38, but both of those take it with a grain of salt because I've only had the 38 twice and the 30 once, and we had a half ounce each, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very confident in my Brora 38 score. You can check out that review. So, yeah.
Yeah. The Clynelish is 78, 75, 7 to 70. 87 to, I would say even as high as like an 89, 90 some nights. Like, some nights that's what you want. Like, you want no sherry influence. You want just a clean, nice, well-balanced whiskey.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah, Clynelish is 100% a buy. Like, go out and grab yourself one if you have not already. For the money you're spending on it, you will not be disappointed, in my opinion. So yeah, that's going to do it for us. I think that, like we said before, it's if you have the passion for experiencing new stuff, you don't mind spending a lot of money for it.
Yeah. And like, it's fine that people buy to collect and whatever else, but you're not going to grow in your journey if you're never opening any bottles. Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah,
crack open those Broras, get them drunk. I mean, look at this fill level. You don't think I have anxiety about this?
That one's taking a beating.
You don't think I have anxiety about that? This was shared well with some patrons too, so they got a little experience of it. But yeah, happy to share it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of guys that are like, they have a beautiful collection and they're stuck on drinking their, bourbons.
Let's punch the face of a bourbon drinker again on this podcast.
Just on the way out.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. Check us out, YouTube and all streaming services you can find this podcast. All right, until next time, have a good one, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.